Okay, so I was outside and someone led me to something that was very interesting. And it's interesting because in both of these readings today for the Mystic Martian Oracle and the Gateway of Light activation, the Flower of Life came out with the Annunaki. So both of those things came out. While I was outside, saw a male and a female cardinal and massive amount of doves, and thought it was interesting that when I was at Walmart, I saw this cat roasting a bird over the fire. And I thought that's funny. Anyhow, while we were in the backyard and saw the cardinals, he found a flower of life and a 7-pointed star. And that's interesting because one, it's above St. Francis of Assisi, his head. See the 7-pointed star? And if you look right here, there's a horseshoe. Oy, it's horrible. Hold on. Maybe now you can see. There you go. So you got St. Francis of Assisi, so you could be connected to the animal kingdom. And then you got the lucky, your name could be Christina. That's funny. Connected to the stars. And then you got this fairy star, or the 7-pointed star. It's also called a fairy star. And I will post this with it. I'm not going to read it all, but it's called a septagram or a heptagram, or a fairy star, is used of or with the pentagram, which is here, which you could use as well for protection. This star is also used for protection. Sometimes they're used together, that said, by many fairy and Celtic-based traditions. The 7-point represent the sun, the forest or wood, the sea, magic, the moon, the wind, and connection or spirit. An alternative set of definition rests upon use of the fairy or elven star as a gateway to the other world. Each point of the star is one of the entrances to the fairy realm, a pathway, or the 7 rays of manifestation of the higher self. And it gives you information below of what those different points are on the star, and I will post that as well. But it was saying how the 7-point star, the septagram or the heptagram, because it can be several points or it can look more like this. This is also a 7-point star, so you could have something similar. This has all the archangels plus the Olympic spirits that help the archangels. And so it's got the 7 archangels on here, the 7 Olympic spirits, the 7 planets. And it's interesting that all of this has come out with the Flower of Life, and it's come out in both of these. So if you have anything like that, they said it could be with the 7 deities. The 7 in Tarot is about introspection and spiritual insight. And so something about the number 7's been coming through heavy. So it has to do with the Fae, the angels, the earth, and the divine as well. And something about the sacral activations as well has been coming through. Sacral and the solar plexus. What else is on here? So yeah, you could have connections to St. Francis of Assisi if you're connected to the animals as well. I used to teach children at St. Francis of Assisi in Castle Rock, Colorado. And in 444, I say this. In my previous message, I was saying how Castle Rock was coming through a lot. Didn't know why. But that's interesting because I used to teach there for a couple of years to the children there. and my kids used to help me at the church there. So anyhow, we're going to go ahead and get started in this. The first card out was the Akashic Stargate. So you're going through portals right now, and if you're connected to our energy, we're always opening different portals and stuff. So you're aligned with purpose, crossroads, and there is no wrong path. I see rainbows on here. You got stars on here. The Aurora Borealis is on here. Planet Earth is on here. You got the meadows in the background and the mountains and beautiful purple flowers. You could be seeing all this. But Spirit's saying there is no wrong path with whatever you choose, whatever portal you go through, whatever choice you make. There is no wrong decision. It is what it is. A Stargate is a portal that can take us through space and time to a whole other universe. It's based on the concept of the Einstein-Rosen bridge, or what is also known as a wormhole, where a spectacular structure linking different points of space and time is created. In spirituality, a Stargate is less about traveling on the physical 3D and more about making progress on the spiritual. A feature of many spiritual traditions is the idea that all of us have a Stargate in our heart that connects us with the central lattice of consciousness, the divine matrix, which is the flower of life that I'm going to show you. The Buddha acknowledged we were the universe, while Jesus said, "The kingdom of heaven is within you." The Akashic Stargate transports us to a space where we are given the opportunity to make a decision to accelerate the realization of our life purpose. What I am doing here is called light language. Some of you have started doing this as well. Talking with your hands is what people used to call it. Different things are coming about. Visualize yourself at a crossroads. Tune into the direction that feels most joyful, light, and loving, and imagine yourself walking that road. In other words, if it lights your fire, follow your highest passion, because that is what is meant for you. Okay? So, great card. And then the Annunaki has been coming through a lot. We're getting Annunaki light code upgrades, energetic shift, new information, end of a cycle. We have been feeling lots of stuff in our head, lots of floatiness. It feels maybe like you're on autopilot sometimes. Some headaches, some tension in the neck. Those are downloads from the galactics, maybe from Spirit Divine coming through. Make sure you are grounding them in and getting them grounded into your root chakras. Getting it from the 5D to the 3D. You've got to ground those energies in so that way it doesn't stay in your head. Okay? Reach out if you want to learn how to do this better. Make sure you're hydrating with good hydration, water, okay? The Annunaki are a race of cosmic light beings who have been coming to Earth since ancient times. The Sumerians and Babylonians acknowledged them as the deities who governed the space between the worlds. The divine leader of this incredible race is the goddess Ishtar, a powerful figure similar to the Egyptian goddess Isis. The Annunaki have taken many forms throughout the ages. They have an angelic warrior-like quality and have appeared with wings, sometimes up to 4, and with an elongated head and face similar to that of an eagle. When the Annunaki appear, it's important to know they are heavenly allies supporting our healing and ascension. In the distant past, they visited the Atlantean civilization and helped those who were aligned with the spiritual path to ascend to the next dimension so that they could leave the wheel of karma. They acted as divine judges, deciding who could ascend and who had to be left behind for the growth of their soul. Those who had abused their powers and did not honor the divine or valued the great gift of life they had been given had to remain for the cataclysmic ending of their civilization. For that reason, some people who have had Atlantean incarnations may fear the Annunaki, but be assured that they are beings of infinite light working for Source. And there were some that, just like anything else, there were some not so good ones and some great ones. Just depends on the time period. Also, it's a very pretty card. Got rainbows on there, gold, chakra colors too as well. Purple, green, standing out a lot. Purple, I think, is your third eye. What's next? Okay, so the divine matrix, and this is where the flower of life comes out. The interconnectedness, the synchronicity, the God incidences. 1122, I say this, which is a big number for the angels. So you see the flower of life in the middle of the Stargate. This is what they're calling the Stargate. This is the flower of life. You can get so many different things out of it. You can get Metatron's cube. You can get the flower of life. You can get, did we say? The flower of life, the Metatron's cube, so many different things you can get out of this, right?
Yeah. I'm drawing a blank right now. Fibonacci sequence.
Oh yeah, the Fibonacci sequence. That's what it was. Everything is connected. Everything that was, is, and ever will be is connected by an invisible bond of energy, uniting every living being from the past, present, and even future. Everything in nature you can see as part of the Fibonacci sequence, which also came out in one of the cards as well in this deck. Fibonacci sequence came out in this deck. I just couldn't remember the name of it. So many different, we got the flower of life that came out here, and the Fibonacci sequence. So everything that was, is, and ever will be is connected by an invisible bond of energy, uniting every living being from the past, present, and even future, because there is no time. Everything is here now. We were watching a movie, Dial of Destiny, Indiana Jones, and they went through a portal using the Dial of Destiny, and they went back to the Roman times. They thought they were going to 1939, but it ended up being the Roman times just through this cloud bank, and then was able to come back to the now time, again through the cloud bank, because everything is here and now. All your energies that are connected, when you feel a connection to your past, it's not because you live there, it's because a piece of your energy, because we're all source. So all those, you used to have different pieces out amongst, and then they became one inside of you. So imagine them being pushed out into different time periods, and those time periods connect to you as well. That's how it works. That's why you feel like you are part of Egyptian time period, in Atlantis time period, in Lemuria time period, because you have energies that were a part of you in those time periods. And that's how that works. This isn't a new idea. Every great mystic through the ages has understood that everything is one, and now scientists are beginning to provide evidence for it. The best way to describe the connection is a lattice or grid, a divine matrix. We're all points on this grid, and we're all connected through it. All of us. It links us to our ancestry and loved ones. aspects of ourselves, past, present, and future, and also the ancient and divine wisdom held in the quantum field of the universe. That's why all these messages on our channels are timeless, because we're all in different time periods. So whatever draws your attention to watch is for you at the time that you watch it. This card shows a giant stargate opening up to the universe and a piece of sacred geometry known as the flower of life. This is quite literally a two-dimensional image of the divine matrix, and the information held within it can help us begin to understand the inner and outer workings of this incredible universe. If you spend time within this image, you'll find multiple images within it, reminding us all that is nothing is happening by chance, and that even when we can't fully comprehend it, there's a greater plan unfolding. Oy, that took a lot to get through. So you can meditate on this flower. You can draw on it and see what it means to you. Then we got the Halls of Amenti initiation. You are having secrets revealed with spirit, treasures uncovered in initiations. And what I saw here was a pyramid down here at the bottom, and a pyramid in the middle as well of the mirror, of the window. And then the black pillar and the white pillar and the black and white stone floor. So the Halls of Amenti are a sacred learning space that were energetically transported by Thoth, who also, by the way, came out in this reading. He just hasn't showed up yet. So many interconnectedness here. He was from Atlantis to the spiritual plane before Atlantis came to an end. It is said that the portal to this etheric retreat is energetically connected to the Great Pyramid of Giza. And that's where he transported everything from, Thoth did. Many believe that the physical remains of these halls can be found there. We don't have to physically visit Egypt to access their energies, though. The Halls of Amenti are said to have been the home of the Emerald Tablet. That's where Thoth put all the information. He is also the one who did all the writings. They are a space of ancient mysteries in service to the expansion of humanity. On this card, you will see two pillars, an echo of the two pillars that have been found in sacred places throughout history. The black pillar, and I'm having a picture of the high priestess come to mind. The B and the J also has a black and a white pillar on it. So high priestess energy coming through. The black pillar represents the physical world, and the white pillar represents the spiritual, indicating that this sacred space is between worlds. If you feel called to these halls or they seem oddly familiar, there is a chance you have visited them in dream time or even before this incarnation. So if you're watching this still, this reading is for you, High Priestess. All right. Imagine you are at the Great Pyramid. Above its apex, a portal opens, drawing you in. See yourself at the center of a sacred temple. Set clear intentions to align with your higher purpose and receive a transmission of great wisdom. Okay? And the last card is Thoth light codes that we're getting upgrades from. Okay? So, light initiation, great teacher awakening, and divine magic. I love Thoth. He is always everywhere. He's also known as Tehuti. The ancient Egyptian ibis-headed god of writing, divine magic, and the moon. So you could have connections to Cygnus as well. And if you want to know more, reach out and ask us, okay? Because we have connections to Cygnus. Acknowledged as the sacred scribe who created writing, he is considered to be the great mind behind the hieroglyphics and the maintainer of the Egyptian universe. He is the priest king of Atlantis and was dedicated to leading the Atlantean people in a loving way that was firm but fair. However, no matter how hard he tried to direct them, many of them didn't obey the spiritual laws of the universe, which inevitably led to the end of their civilization. This gateway takes you to a space where you can connect with the energetic frequency that Thoth carries. As a master teacher of the stars, he holds space for you to connect with some of your greatest gifts from this lifetime and the many others you've lived. Thoth's primary teaching is spiritual integrity, and he's working alongside a powerful congregation of evolved souls, the ascended Atlanteans, to guide those who are ready to increase their awareness. He specializes in helping those who are finding it difficult to make spiritual progress, to rise above the aspects of their life that are holding them back, and he helps awaken the teacher within. And a lot of you connected to my energy are supposed to be teachers in your own right, and we are working with some of you. We have been for a few months, and we're grateful for that. So thank you for those of you that have reached out and have used us as a guide, and thank you to my guides as well. So from the Mystic Martian Oracle, the first one that came out was the Annunaki, and what pulled my attention was they're different from night and day. There were some of them that were different from each other. There was the good ones and the bad ones, just like any other race, okay? So as you can see, they're a mirror image of each other. As you can see, their hands are in the same places on the watches. Something about red and blue I told you about came out when we went to play putt-putt. They got their wings. One's night, one's day, one's got the pyramids, one's got the aliens in the background. So very different, yet the same. And light and dark, right? Things that we can't seem to get past, apparently. So the Anunnaki, often known as the Shining Ones, Elohim, which comes through a lot, the fallen angels, and the Watchers. The ancient Babylonian and Sumerian civilization, now modern Iraq and Syria, was highly advanced technology, culturally and linguistically, as well as legally and scientifically sophisticated. They developed 60-20 counting systems, geometry, and written language system. They invented organized lunar, solar, stellar, cosmic navigating and timekeeping systems. The original Anunnaki on Earth were giant Nephilim in size, standing beyond 12 feet tall. The last deluge and inbreeding has bred out the pure bloodlines on Earth. The original Anunnaki varied in skin coloring from very dark to fair, and were said to be able to crossbreed with the Alpha Draconians and reptilian beings. Ancient Sumerian clay tablets reveal documentation dating back to the 24th century BC creation and genetic stories that were polytheistic with many complex off-world Anunnaki narratives. The Anunnaki were the inhabitants of the planet Nibiru, a distant reddish planet that enters our solar system every 3,600 years. It is debated if Nibiru's last elliptic orbit entrance to our solar system may have caused the Great Deluge. Either way, Anunnaki invaded Earth and infiltrated, then destroyed Atlantis. This is controversial. Later led by high priest scientist Enki, E-N-K-I, they then started a mining colony with another off-planet race called the Igigi, I-G-I-G-I, to assist in the mining of monatomic gold for its precious interdimensional properties. Some of you may be taking gold out there. I say it 2444. We use it. It's a 24K gold oil. we use it for our third eye. Let me know if you're interested in knowing more about it. The Igigi rebelled and departed due to Annunnaki's control, led by half-brother Enlil, and against Enki's wishes. The Anunnaki then used sophisticated genetic engineering on the Earthlings to create a somewhat upgraded hybrid human workforce, smart enough to follow instructions, though not smart enough to rebel. Enki was the support, mentor, and advisor for the humans. The remaining Anunnaki ancestors are waiting for the next Nibiru orbit to leave Earth. So this is a conflict of interest, drama, duality, controlling. There was duality back then just like there is now. Wanting to always be right, sibling rivalry, as you can see. Okay, so there were the good ones and the bad ones, just like anything else. And then we got, and that was card number 5. Okay, and then we got number 15, which is the Nephilim came out. And again, talking about Anunnaki, the Nephilim. You know, there are no coincidences. The cards that were drawn out of this deck and drawn out of this one, there's something about it. The Nephilim are also known as the Anakin, and Anakin Skywalker and Jedi has been coming through a lot. That's because the Galactics have been coming in with messages about the different things that's been going on. So the Nephilim are also known as Anakin, the Els, the ELs. So EL is light, which is also another name for the angels, angle of light, angel. Okay, so the ELs, the Els, and the Elohim. The Nephilim were the humanoid, the giants of ancient times on earth that seemingly died out during the last great flood. You know what I see on here is a tiny little earth woman in the bottom, and he's carrying, like down here, and he's carrying a whole ass tree. And he's got tattoos on his face. So he's a big dude. And some of the collective out there is pretty tall. I've been seeing a lot of tall people lately. So some of y'all may have connections to the giants, to the Nephilim, okay? I know a lot of the energies that I'm connected to. Thor is one of them. Anyhow, the Nephilim were the humanoid giants of ancient times. I already said that. Okay. Their origins are unclear. Some sources say they originate from Canaan. Genesis 6:4 states that they are the sons of God. Later interpretations of this led to the relabeling of them as the fallen ones. Sorry, I don't go with that. I don't believe in that. I just think that it's another end of the spectrum. The Nephilims were pre-Diluvian and possibly of the original genetic seeding programs. Discovered bones are as old as 50,000 to 300,000 years old. The Hebrew Torah, and a lot of Hebrew stuff has been coming through. We've seen a lot of things for Jews, Hebrews. We've seen something look like a guy that looked like a rabbi today. So something about Hebrew has been coming through heavy as well. Not sure, still working on that. So the Hebrew Torah makes mention of the Nephilim giants, and the Old Testament book of Samuel mentions Goliath the giant. The book of Enoch makes reference to the giants, as do the Dead Sea Scrolls. Something about scrolls have been coming through in papyrus. The ancient Greeks called their giants the Cyclops and Titans, and we just watched the Clash of the Titans the other night, which had the Cyclops in it, and the Titans were fighting, and we watched King Kong and freaking Godzilla, Titans again. So something about that. All right. Scandinavian pagans mention stories regarding ice giants and trolls. There's a troll outside. The New Zealand Maori have stories about the red-haired I'm going to butcher this, Patupari giants that inhabited New Zealand first. In 1911, the ancient Nevada Sitka tribe discovered mummified red-haired giants that coincide with their passed down stories. Giant bones were also discovered in Alaska. I saw Alaska shirt today. And Mexico and the Denisova Cave, Siberia. The Nephilim have a complex and a controversial history that sometimes weirdly overlaps into the Annunaki genetic territory. That's interesting. So ESP, temptations, brute strength, critiquing, new perspective, new ideas, hope processing. This is very interesting. And then again, the flower of life comes out again. Number 29. And that came out in the angel number deck that I pulled earlier. Plus 29 as the day I was born. Okay. So the flower of life, geometric inspiration, awe, and dreams. You could be getting dreams on this. You could be using the flower of life in some of your practices. You could be seeing it everywhere. It could be in your car. All right. The hexagram contains all 5 platonic solids of physical matter. The tetrahedron, the cube, the octahedron, the dodecahedron, and the icosahedron. Within the template is Metatron's cube, and as the pattern expands in a fractal fashion, also dimensionally the hypercube. The geometric circular pattern with evenly based overlapping circles creates a continuous 6-petaled flower design that also contains the Star of David, hexagon shape when intersecting connection points are lined up. So many things this thing does. So many. And then something about the Fibonacci sequence as well. That came out. The golden ratio. Beauty, nature, patterns. I mean, you see it in the sunflower. So, you know, and then the 144, which comes through all the time, that's part of the golden ratio, the Fibonacci. Nature's secret code, nature's universal rule is the divine connected proportions of the golden ratio concludes the small is to the large is to the whole. So the golden ratio is found everywhere in nature, including harmonics, art, shells. There's multiple shells outside. There's shells everywhere. You know what's also weird is there are corks everywhere in bottles around this place, and I'm not sure why, and I just got a notification. Shine on. Something about that. Something about corks, protection, absorption. I don't know. It's weird. All right. Anyhow, the golden ratio has also been discovered on a nano and subatomic scale in solid matter. It is said that some extraterrestrials use this golden ratio spiral sequence symbiotically with higher consciousness for propulsion energy of their crafts and to navigate interdimensional time travel. And we have been watching time travel shows left and right as well. All of this is playing in together, guys. Every single bit of it. So I'm going to leave it here. If you're still here, this message is definitely for you. Thank you for sticking around. Anything else? This is really good for grounding as well. It's Tesla coil copper. It's also used for Reiki healings. All right? Later. We love you guys. 3411. The fact that over